What's up, amigos? It's the Prodigy Maker Minute with Chris Lewitt. As you may know, I'm the former #1 for Cornell University, pro circuit player, elite junior development coach, and author and educator, author of The Secrets of Spanish Tennis and the Tennis Technique Bible. On this Prodigy Maker Minute, I want to talk a little bit more about Spanish tennis. I'm working on the new book, the new edition of The Secrets of Spanish Tennis, and my mind is immersed in Spanish tennis. And it struck me as I'm going through the manuscript that Carlos Alcaraz is really the culmination of something that I foreshadowed in the book back when I wrote the first edition in 2014. And I talked about how in Spain, the country and the coaches were adapting at that time. They were developing more fast court players, more aggressive players. They were introducing a balance of hard court and clay court training around that time in the years 2010, 2005 to 2015. During that time frame in Spain, there was a transformation happening all across the country that I noticed and that I discussed in my book. You can check my book if you want to verify what I said. But I talked about how all the academies were no longer just training on red clay; they were training on faster hard courts and red clay in a balanced way, and also that coaches, many of the more progressive coaches in Spain, were teaching players to take the ball more on the rise. They were teaching players to take the ball, more on the rise at the top of the bounce, to take the ball earlier and to improve their court position. Where in some of the traditional academies in Spain, especially, for example, the Bruguera Academy or in the Pato Alvarez style of training, in those methodologies, the players were allowed to sort of retreat very, very deep into the court. And I noticed in my travels and my studies that many of the younger generation of coaches and some of the up-and-coming academies with a more progressive outlook were shying away from that. We're encouraging actually players to retreat a little bit less to the recesses of the court, or if they do retreat, to try to recuperate their position more aggressively, and also to take a more of an aggressive position from the baseline. And I discussed that in the book. And this is back in 2014 when the book was published. So now fast forward to today and 2022, soon to be 2023, and you have this paragon, this prime example of exactly what I was talking about then. This guy, Carlos Alcaraz, plays like a perfect hybrid style, like a new hybrid style, a new hybrid Spanish style of very good defense, very good ability to move back in the court and give ground, but also tremendously good at taking ground and taking the ball in the rise and holding position on the line, and also moving forward aggressively to the net, with an all-court strategy. So I just think that Alcaraz embodies like this evolution that was coming in Spanish tennis, and it started in the grassroots level. It really started with academies being willing to install hard courts, and certainly Juan Carlos Ferrero's academy, Equilite, where Alcaraz spent his time as a teenager. They have numerous hard courts there for the kids to train on, and they teach a pretty aggressive style in terms of court position. And Juan Carlos Ferrero himself was in some ways a harbinger of that style because he played pretty aggressive as well. And he was very good on hard courts. And there are other examples of that too. The Rafa Nadal Academy is a very good example of that. They have a lot of hard courts there, and they train the players to attack and to be aggressive, not just to be defensive counter punchers. So this is a transformation in Spain. Carlos Alcaraz is a product of this grassroots change back maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago. And I just think that's a fascinating trend. And it's something also to watch for, because you may see now, especially with the charisma and the magnetism of Carlos Alcaraz, you may see many more players being willing to play aggressive the way he does. It will remain to be seen how long Alcaraz can stay healthy and how many slams he can win, how much of an influence he's going to be. But at the moment, you'd have to wager that he's going to have a huge influence on the young kids growing up and on the coaching methodology, coaching philosophy in Spain for future kids who are rising up. So I just think it's an interesting trend to watch. And it started way back, 10, 15, 20 years ago when Spanish academies started to introduce hard court training and a more aggressive style of play. Alcaraz Lo and behold, Alcaraz shows up a little bit later, and he's completely transformed what it means to be a Spanish tennis player. No longer a defensive counterpuncher per se, and all court aggressive, can do basically anything he wants on the court. Guys, if you like this Prodigy Maker Minute, please check out my big show, The Prodigy Maker Show. It's available on all your favorite podcasting platforms and as a live YouTube program here on this channel. I'll see you guys on the next program.